hey, hello? God, I can never film a reasonable hello on the first try or the second try or even the fifth try, so I think I need to work on that behind the scenes. But anyway, hey, I don't get a lot of questions about my skincare routine or what shampoo I use and things like that. Thank God, because I definitely don't care about those topics at all. And I have no interest in influencing or instructing anyone on those subjects. But I do get a fuck ton of questions about what's my deal with sticky notes. When they say, what's your deal? I kind of just say like, oh my God, look, aren't they so beautiful? But there's some value in telling people how I use sticky notes because it's not the way that people think I do. A lot of people see sticky notes as an office supply and something you use to organize your tasks or meetings you need to be at. I actually don't use sticky notes to remind me about shit I need to do. Now I'm gonna be completely a different color in this video. Oh well. People who know me know that I'm not very organized in real life. Like, I'll give you an example. Look at my room right now. Literally just like stuff everywhere. People are kind of confused, like, if you're not using them to organize your life, what are you using them for? I want to finally answer that question. In this video, I'm going to share a few ways that I use sticky notes to organize my brain and my emotions and other things that have nothing to do with tasks, because tasks are boring. ENFP. If you know your letters, comment below. And like, I just, I sat up last night realizing I need to start making Myers-Briggs videos. Anyway, the first way that I use sticky notes, and this is one of the primary ways that I use sticky notes, is to understand my own patterns as a human. I'm a firm believer that everything under the sun is a pattern, a series of patterns. I think humans are a series of patterns. I think life is a series of patterns that I can master. Studying the patterns and understanding the patterns gives us way more insight and way more awareness. I like to organize chaotic data into insights and trends and things that I understand so I can get smarter faster. So I use sticky notes to understand my own pattern. The way that I do that, for example, I would come up with a prompt, like a sentence starter, something I want to know about myself. And this is something I do a lot. Prompting. I have a whole list of prompts that I'm still looking to explore. The one that I've been studying lately is, it feels good to spend money on ... and it feels bad to spend money on ... Every day I come home, I think about money I spent that day and I categorize them into, it felt good to spend money on, it felt bad to spend money on. After a day or a week or a month, I have an incredible amount of data and it's already organized for me, so I can just look at that data and look for the trends, and it's really not hard. I look at it and I see it feels bad to spend money on Five Guys, Taco Bell, Starbucks, 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 food, 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 Starbucks, 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 which is funny because I always try and tell people I'm not basic, but then you see my list and I'm like, damn, I guess I'm basic. So at the end of a week, the end of a month, I have all that data to look at on that particular prompt. It shows me what I need to know about myself. It gives me an insight, or it shows me the next question I need to ask. The next question I need to ask myself is, if it doesn't feel good to spend money on food, why am I doing it? That's a pretty specific question, and it's not that hard for me to get the answer. And because I've made the conscious connection between spending money on this particular thing or in this particular way doesn't make me feel good, next time I go to do it, something triggers in my head saying, hey, you assigned a lot of significance to this connection. You put it in that category, it didn't feel good. Is this gonna feel good if I do it right now? Nah, done. That's how I start to master myself. That's how I start to master my own patterns. And that's one thing that I use sticky notes for. The second reason I use sticky notes is something my brother and I stress to people in the effective brainstorming workshop that we run. And it's that we need to keep ideas alive. We always talk about this thing called the lifespan of an idea or the lifespan of a productive thought. And we have a huge collective issue across the board in the sense that the lifespan of our ideas or the lifespan of our productive thoughts are so short because we don't do anything to make them tangible. We don't do anything to keep them alive. I use sticky notes as the most obvious, easy way to keep ideas and productive thoughts alive. When I leave productive thoughts or ideas in my head, it's almost up to chance whether or not they're going to come back, and it's almost up to chance whether or not they're going to connect themselves with adjacent ideas or turn into something. What I don't want to do is I don't want to lose them. I don't want the lifespan of those ideas to be short. I want to see it through to its full potential, or at least have the shot of doing so. By making them tangible, more of them stay relevant, more of them get connected with adjacent ideas, more of them come to fruition, more of them get wrapped up into something important. And that's important for two reasons. One is just producing, putting more into the world. And the second one is it increases in my mind the ratio of productive thoughts to total thoughts. How many of the thoughts that I was thinking, how many of the ideas that I had were productive? When I purposely keep these ideas and productive thoughts alive, more of them come to fruition, and it gives me the confidence confidence that the thoughts and ideas that I produce are productive. So for example, one of my biggest goals in life is to have an unlimited gift budget. I love giving gifts, and I record when they come to mind specific gifts that I want to give to specific people before I die. So I have, you know, a sheet covered in those things. Or for example, I have a list of feelings that I like to feel and a whole sheet of things that make me feel that particular feeling. When I'm feeling exhausted, I want to feel energized, I just walk up to my sheet of sticky notes that says all the things that energize me, and I pick one that sounds appealing and I fucking do it, and it energizes me. Why? Because that's a pattern. If I feel lonely, which I fucking do because I'm a millennial and we're all fucking lonely, and I'll get to that, hold on, not in this video, but I have a sheet covered in sticky notes of things that make me feel connected, and I do one of those to feel connected, whatever. Or for example, I have this project I'm working on in regards to scooters that I'm really excited about. And I have a lot of ideas for that. And so, you know, when those come up, even though I'm not acting on them right away, I don't want them to die. I don't want it to be up to chance if I remember them again next time. So I immediately write them down, and I have a stack of those too. The third way that I use sticky notes is for thought leadership. If you know me, you know I have a million theories. I'm always trying to build on theories that already exist or frameworks that already exist. And I care about being a thought leader. I care about that a lot. The average person is not a thought leader, and it's not the average person's fault. We don't teach people to facilitate their own thought, and we don't teach people to think on offense, and I'm blessed enough to have gone to a high school that did teach me that, or at least got the ball rolling. And I didn't learn this in high school, but my brother and I develop a lot of theories and frameworks and practices together, and sticky notes is one of the best ways that we facilitate our own thought. Pick a topic, or I ask myself a question. So for example, I ask myself, what are millennials struggling with? You know, that's my topic. And then I use one sticky note per answer, and I just go and go and go and generate as many answers as I can. And then I ask myself a different question, or a question about the answers I just generated. Why are they struggling with this? What does it look like to struggle with this? How are they coping with the fact that they're struggling with this? What would it look like to live in a world where they don't have to struggle with this? How would we get there? Blah, blah, blah. You know, I put out a couple videos on motivation, and I need to put out more, but I do the same process before I put those videos out. I ask myself, why aren't millennials motivated? What don't we understand? Or what hasn't been taught to us? I pick a question, I answer it as many times as I can, putting one answer on each sticky note, and then I ask another question. Basically what I'm doing is interviewing myself, but not putting the pressure on my brain to retain everything it just produced, so that I can use all my brain power to answer the one specific question I'm looking at right then, which may be like 5 questions removed from where I started, but I want to be able to allocate all my brain power to that one question. And the only way I can do that is to not put the pressure on my brain of retaining all the other productive thoughts that I just thought. That's why we put them all out on sticky notes. And from there, I have all these ideas, and I can organize it however I need to. I can eliminate things. I can reorder them. I can do whatever I need to. Then when I have this information organized in a compelling enough way, I very simply turn it into a video, an article, a book, whatever, like anything. The fourth way I use sticky notes is simply to generate volume of ideas and productive thoughts. There's a concept that comes straight from one of my favorite books called The Originals. Basically what it says is that if you want to increase the quality of your ideas, you first need to increase the quantity of your ideas. The best parallel that I can find is being photogenic. So you look at someone and you think, wow, they're taking better photos than me. They're not necessarily taking better photos than you, they're taking more photos than you and are able to pick the best ones to move forward with. It's the same thing when it comes to ideas. People don't necessarily have better ideas than you, but they have more ideas than you and can pick the best ones. When you look at someone who always has a good idea, those people are generating way more ideas than you in the average day. What happens when you start taking photos all the time? You get to know your angles and you can get the best shot faster. Same thing with people who generate a lot more ideas. You generate enough ideas, you start to understand your angles, and you can get to a great idea faster. For that reason, I push myself to produce volume all the time, even if it's not that important or doesn't hold that much weight. So for example, list of videos that I want to make, bing, 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 and just go until it gets harder. But I've seen this work for me, that the more ideas I'm generating on average, the better my ideas are all the time. So I push myself to generate a lot of ideas. And the fifth way / reason that I use sticky notes is to do what I call a daily brain dump. We use our brains for so many things we shouldn't use our brains for. And I mean, I guess you can use it for that, but basically what I want to be doing is always having my brain available with a storage space, basically, to do creative thought and to do productive thought and to do thought leadership and to do critical thinking and all that stuff. And I find that I can't do that when I'm asking my mind to do so many other remedial tasks like store information, retain shit. I basically look at my mind as the golden child, and like if you have a golden child who's winning state championships, then you like oh no, don't vacuum. Oh no, don't worry about that. Oh, don't do all these remedial tasks so you can focus on winning. That's what I try to do with my mind. I don't ask it to do remedial shit. Like I don't ask it to retain information I could write down. So every day I wake up or whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed in the middle of the day or whatever, I do what I call a brain dump, and I use sticky notes to write everything that I feel pressure to retain. I give myself the freedom to not have to retain it anymore, and that's that. And then my brain is, you know, back in action for critical thinking. And the other thing that I do, I want to reward myself for producing volume of ideas, for keeping ideas tangible, for thought leadership. I want to holy shit. I want to reward, okay. I want to reward myself for all of those things. And so what I do is when I get a pack of sticky notes, I write on the back page of each of them a reward that I'm gonna give myself when I go through that entire little pack of sticky notes. Go get an ice cream, go get a haircut, buy this thing you want, go get those shoes, whatever. Yeah, I just love sticky notes, and honestly, I just feel like most of us aren't friends with our brains, you know? Our brains aren't our fucking ride or die, and that's how I feel about my brain. I feel like my brain is my fucking ride or die, and it wasn't always, but I built a really strong friendship with my brain. To be honest, like, sticky notes are how I did it. I'm so serious, like, that's how I feel. Subscribe to my channel if you want, and if you don't want, I'm happy that you're living the life you want to live, so all good. Anyway, bye. Boomer.